Good evening, friends. Welcome to Fun Fold Friday. So glad to have you here tonight. I'm just sitting, making sure my camera's working fine and seeing if I can. There we go. It looks like it's working great. So, welcome to Fun Fold Friday. I have a really fun fold to share with you tonight, and I can't wait to get started. So let's get right to it. So tonight I'm going to be making a freestanding vertical fun fold card. So freestanding vertical fun fold card, that's a mouthful. This is the design of it. I will tell you that I saw one of these. It was done with different stamps and paper, but I saw one of these on Pinterest, made by Susan Campfield. And I just knew I had to figure out how to do this. And I just love the look at it. So you've got this. Let me show you the standing part. It's going to look like this. So you can see it has all these different little compartments. If I hold it like this, you can see it opened and how you have the little surprise on the inside. The card will fold right over. So if you need to do some writing on the inside, you don't have to worry. But notice that it uses, like last week's card, a lot of designer series paper. And I really like that because we all seem to have extra designer series paper hanging around and always can find a use for it. So this is going to be a beautiful fold and a beautiful card. And I hope that you all decide to try to make one and then in the comments post your card and what you did. So let's go over just a couple things. So first of all, if you're joining me live tonight, please give me a shout out in the comments and tell me where you're watching from. Tell me if you're watching the live or if you're watching the recording that I'm going to be posting later. I also wanted to let you know that I've started a YouTube channel. It's called It Begins with Ink and Paper. No surprise there. And I've been adding some of my Fun Fold Friday videos, and I'll add this one afterwards to there. I am going to try at some point when I'm feeling that I can do this as well as I can. I am going to try to do a Facebook Live while I'm doing a YouTube Live at the same time. So you'll be able to find some videos, and I'm going to make some other videos as well. So you will be able to find some of my videos on YouTube. So you just have to search for It Begins with Ink and Paper. And if I think about it, I'll put a link on my Facebook page. So let's get started on this card. So I've got a little cheat sheet here because there's a lot of moving parts to this. So you're going to start with a piece of cardstock that measures 8 by 5.5. And you're going to score it at 1.5 inches, 2 3/4 inches, 5 1/4 inches, and 6.5 inches. And then you're going to want to fold this. And this is going to fold, so I'll just show you real quick. It is going to fold like this. So if you want to see how I did that, we're going to start with a mountain fold, valley fold, mountain fold. And you want these two folds to come together in the center. So that is the first part. So let me just burnish these edges so I have a really nice fold here. Anytime you're doing a fun fold, you really want to make sure those folds are nice and crisp. It's going to give you the best look on your card. So I'm going to take care of that right here. So this part is all ready for us to go. Now, mine folded flat with no gap in between these pieces. If yours has a little bit of gap, don't worry, because we're going to be covering the front of this, and you won't be able to see that gap. Okay, I'm going to set that aside, and let's look at what else you need. You are going to need, for the base of our card, you're going to need a piece of cardstock that is 5.5 by 4 1/4, so a full quarter sheet of cardstock. This eventually with some other things is going to go right on top of this. So that's the first thing you need. You're also going to need 2 pieces of designer series paper that are 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4 inches. And I am using, let me just make sure I'm going to say my name right. Got the package right here. The beautiful Rustic Harvest Designer Series paper that is found in the mini catalog. And this is a piece of Cajun Craze paper, and I chose a piece of the Cajun Craze Designer Series paper to go with this. And you can see on the back side it's black and white, and you have some beautiful images you could color or just use as is. I am going to be adding these to the side so you can see on this card that piece of designer series paper is right here on both edges. So it just fits so nicely. So let me add those. I'm using my Stamp and Seal adhesive. And I'm going to put this on just like if I was layering it and wanting a border around it. So I'm going to make sure that border is there like I would if I was just layering the full piece of designer series paper. And going to add this right here. There we go. So we've got that set. So that piece is also set. Then you're going to need, and these are going to go on the piece of black cardstock that I showed you in just a minute ago. You're going to need a piece of designer series paper that is 1 1/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And you're going to need 2 pieces of designer series paper that are 1 inch by 5 1/4 as well. We'll put those on in just a minute. For the middle of the card, as I showed in my original, you're going to want some place that you can actually write your message or sign your name. So I have also cut a piece of not Whisper White, I keep on calling it that, basic white cardstock that is, and I don't think I wrote that measurement down. It is 2 1/4 by 5 1/4. So you'll need that. For the top of our card, I'm going to use the basic black, the Cajun Craze, and another piece of the designer series paper. And I just loved the colors used in this, the espresso, the Mary Merlot, the Cajun Craze. And so we need, our base is going to be 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. And then this piece here is 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then this piece here is 3 by 5. So we're just bringing it down. So let me connect these together. Now I will say, when it comes to this design of the card, if you're going to want to add anything to the front panel, you are going to need to do so before you attach it to the card. So if you see in my sample I made, I added some white baker's twine. I needed to wrap that around my card before I added this to the front of the entire card. So there we have that first layer. And here we go with the second layer. So perfect. And I will add all of that later. So let me set those aside. And I'm going to come back to my piece of basic black that I've already folded. And I'm going to start adding these pieces to it. This piece is going to go right on the front of this. We're going to be attaching the front panel to the left side of the card. So we don't need to put anything on here because it's totally going to be covered. That's why we only cut one piece of this. So let me again add this piece. There we go. And then these two pieces are actually going to go on these panels right here. Thank you for joining me tonight. Those of you who are here, remember to give me a shout out in the comments so I can see where you're from. Tell me where you're watching from. Biggest thing you can do to help me with my small business is to share this link, to share the video. And as I said earlier, I have started this week a YouTube channel. It's called It Begins with Ink and Paper. So now I have attached all of the pieces of cardstock that are going to be attached to this in designer series paper. So this is all ready to start putting together. I also will need a scrap of basic white cardstock so I can do some stamping. And I pre-cut 2 of the stylish shape banners to do some stamping on as well. So the ink that I am going to be using tonight is Mossy Meadow, which is this color here and in the leaves, and I'm going to be using the Cajun Craze. And the stamp set I'm using is the stamp set that goes with the Rustic Harvest designer series paper, and it's called Hello Harvest. It's a great fall set. We've got some fall flowers, we've got a pumpkin, we've got a fall leaf, and we have some wonderful sentiments. Hello, you are such a blessing. These are the 2 I'm going to use tonight. Wishing you the loveliest day, and you are missed. So those are the set we're going to use tonight. I'm going to start with stamping 2 leaves because those are going to go on the inside of the card. So I'm using the leaf stamp and I am using the Mossy Meadow ink. I love this stamp because it is pretty rustic. You can see the leaf has such great detail. It looks like it's been sitting outside and it's starting to break away and decompose. So it's a cool stamp. I am then going to use, as I said, I'm using the Hello Harvest bundle, and the stamp set comes with a beautiful die cutting set that has the pumpkin, a label die, the flowers can be stamped out. It has a pumpkin die with everything that you need that's embossed that you can cut out of colored cardstock and have a great embossed pumpkin. So you've got all these great dies that go with this set. And so through the magic of television, I have already die cut these 2 leaves, so I don't have to run off to the other side of the room and do that. So those I'm going to just set aside. And then I'm going to stamp 2 of the greetings. We're going to be using the You Are Such a Blessing and the Hello. And I'm going to be using the Cajun Craze ink for this. These are going to fit right on my label. So let's get it lined up. And I'm going to use the clear block to line it right up on my label. So there's the hello. And then I'm going to use the You Are Such a Blessing on the other label. There we go. So we've got both of those done. So now we just have to put the card together. And I've also got some of the basic dots here. It comes in the white, the vanilla, gray, and black. And I'm going to be using some of those today too. So as I said, let's start putting this all together. So I am going to start by taking some of my baker's twine and I am going to wrap it around the front of this card. I love using baker's twine. It just is such a fun thing to be able to use. So let me just get that side hanging. I'm going to wrap it around a total of 3 times and then cut it right off. And then the thing that I fear most with lives is tying a bow, and I'm going to attempt it. For some reason, my fingers just become all very clumsy when I need to tie a bow. So I'm going to try to tie a knot first. I seem to do better when oh, look at that, I got it first try. So now I can make my bow. And then adjust it. And then I'll just trim it. There we go. And then the other part that I want to do on the front is add the hello right here. And I'm going to use dimensionals to do that. And I'm trying to leave the middle a little bit open with my dimensionals so that I can go around the twine. So there we have that on. And then the last thing that we need to do with this is just add my little dots here. So I'm going to put a larger one in the center and a smaller one on either side. So it looks like this. Love it. Okay, so that can be set aside. So now let's put the rest of the card together. So I'm going to close this and I am going to add a lot of adhesive to the back of this card because it needs to stick to the middle of this base, and it's going to be opening and closing a lot. So I just want to make sure I have enough cardstock, enough adhesive to do that. I want this to sit flush with the bottom of the page, and it needs to be centered. So I want to make sure it is not only straight, but centered on my card, and that is not doing it for me. If you don't press super hard down with the adhesive, you can lift things off. So I'm going to kind of hold this up this way so I can make sure it is going where I want it to go. That is much better. And then I can adhere it. So we've got that opening and we've got the base down here. Now what I need to do is add this piece to the front of the card. So I am going to now put some adhesive. This is the only place this panel will be adhered to. So I, again, want to make sure I've got enough adhesive on it to hold it in place. And then as I close those panels, I want this flush with the bottom too, and I want this centered on that panel, just like this. So you can see I have that movement. It's going to stand nicely. And now I want to decorate this. So I want one of these leaves to stick over, and I'm going to want the greeting to stick over. So I'm going to add my first leaf right here, and then stand my second one up a little bit. And then I'm going to take my greeting that I just stamped. You are such a blessing. But I'm only going to put the adhesive on this end because, again, I want this piece to hang over the edge. So I'm going to make sure I don't add too much adhesive to it. And then I'm going to place this so it covers the bottom of the leaves. Okay. And that is all it takes to make this beautiful fold. So again, it's called a freestanding vertical fun fold. When you open it up, you get that surprise greeting in there. You can fold this over so it can go flat so that you can write on it. And it will stand for you as well, just like that. And then here is the front of it again. And when you open it, you get this nice surprise. So I thank you so much for joining me for Fun Fold Friday tonight. I hope you enjoyed this card, and I hope you try it out for yourself. If you do, please take a picture and post it in the comments. I'd love to see your creations. And remember, I did start a YouTube channel this week. It begins with ink and paper, and I will be putting my Fun Fold Friday videos there, and I will also, hopefully the beginning of next week, see what I can get done this weekend. I will start posting some other videos, such as tips and techniques, tools, and of course, some wonderful cards. So I hope you join me again next Friday. I am going to do a fold that is similar to this one, but it has a little twist. So it's going to be a little different, but some of it is going to be the same. So I'm going to show you another way that you can use this design. Take care, everyone, and have a great week, and I'll see you next Friday. Good night.